Hello, my name is Jen. I work at the library full-time, and I'm a mother of one, and I'm also an indie game developer. So I started my indie game development journey in 2020 at the age of 40. I had no background in computer science or computer programming. My background was actually in traditional animation and graphic novels. So I'm going to talk about my current project, and I want to take you down kind of like how I started my approach to this project, and just some steps that I took along the way, so that if you're interested in game development, maybe that'll give you an idea of what the process is like, or at least was for me. Okay, thanks for watching. So I started out my project by creating a design document where I laid out how I wanted my battle system to work. It was going to be based on dice and a rock, paper, scissors type system. After I had created the object classes that I was going to use to represent my dice, I just put the numbers into a couple of scripts, and then I ran the combat system by itself with just the numbers basically to see if it actually worked. And then I had a bunch of my friends also test out this combat system just based on the text that you see displayed here on the screen, to see if the level of strategy and engagement was interesting enough to build the game around. Once I was happy with how this basic combat system worked, I started looking into how I was going to represent this with graphics by using some placeholder art and measuring the number of pixels so that I could start creating the art assets in the correct size. After deciding what size I need to make my images, I went ahead and created some sprites and then programmed them to display. And then ran my combat system again to make sure that the artwork was properly conveying the battle information and that the player would understand what was supposed to be happening. When I was satisfied with my combat system, I went ahead and went back and started working on character sprites. I knew that my game was going to need a story to have all these battles have any sense of consequence or meaning. And so I started developing these different characters that the story was going to revolve around, and started making sprites for these unique characters that were both close-up portraits for their expressions and battle combat sprites as well. I had some friends record some voice lines that I edited in an audio program, and I also started adding some transition effects to make the game a little bit more pleasant to look at, as well as some menu systems to make the gameplay a little bit more clear. I also went in and customized the GUI some more with the fonts, and then started focusing more on the story again. So writing a scenario for the player to explore different areas, incorporating a map system and location system for all these events to start to unfold. Going back to add a little bit more polish, I created some special effects for the characters to have special skills that would trigger in battle to make the battles a little bit more exciting. I also added a couple other gameplay modes where the player would have to strategize around like a war campaign where they would have consecutive waves of battle. So it would be a little bit more about troop and resource management, as well as the original rock, paper, scissors kind of mechanic. That's my game development in a nutshell.